ماشي دابا.
Hello. So we are live, I guess. Yes, we are. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We are really glad you could join us today. Let me start with a very simple question. Have you ever watched a video online and wondered, is this actually real? Today, that question is more important than ever. But first of all, let us introduce ourselves to you. Starting by me, I'm Ihsan Laumari, a computer science student at Al Akhwain University, minoring in communication studies. And today I will be the moderator of this webinar. I will let the floor to other participants to introduce themselves, starting with Aya.
Thank you so much, Ihsan. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. So I'm Aya, majoring in international studies and diplomacy with a minor in human resources and development. And today I will cover how deepfakes are creating a serious problem for media and journalism. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aya. Now Huda. Huda, come on stage and please present yourself.
Hi everyone. So I'm Huda Nasir. I'm a psychology student at Al Akhwain University. I'm minoring in human resources management, and today I'll be presenting on the ethical challenges and social risks of deepfakes, as well as the importance of sorry, the importance of responsibility and trust in the age of AI.
Thank you, Huda. Now, Wian, can you present yourself too?
Yes, of course. So, hello everyone. My name is Wiam Agweb, and I'm an HR student at Akhawin University. So, today I will present my part in this webinar about deepfakes, which focuses on how to detect deepfakes and the different solutions to reduce their impact on society. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wiam. Hajar, can you present yourself?
Hello, I'm Hajar, a bachelor master student at Al University, and my part it will be a deepfake video analysis. Thank you.
Thank you so much, girls. Now we will move to the first parts of this presentation. So, because with the rise of artificial intelligence, it's becoming harder to tell the difference between what's real and what's completely fake. AI is evolving very fast. It's a fact that we can't deny it. And it can now generate videos, clone voices, and create images that look incredibly realistic, sometimes even impossible to detect with the simple human eye. And these creations are simply called the deepfakes, which we're gonna talk about in today's webinar. At first, deepfakes were mostly used for entertainment, for example, in movies, memes, or social media content. And but the problem is that today that impact goes far beyond that, and they can now influence opinions, spread misinformation, and even damage trust in what we see and hear every day as consumers of media on a daily basis. And that's where the real problem begins. So today we're gonna talk about the impacts of deepfakes on media and trust, ethical and social risks, detection and solution. We will have a case study represented by Hajar today, and we will finish by a Q&A session and a very fun Kahoot game. Now I will let the floor to my classmate Aya to present her parts.
Thank you so much, Ihsan. So, as Ihsan said, it is becoming very hard to verify what it is real and what it is fake. So, in the past, if we saw a video or an image, we usually trust it. But today, with deep fakes, even very realistic content can be completely false. This means that we can no longer rely only on what we see. Second, even journalists can be fooled. Professional journalists are trained to verify information, but deepfakes are now so advanced that sometimes even experts cannot easily detect them. This creates a big challenge for news organizations. Third point, there is a real risk of publishing false content. If a journalist or a media company shares a deepfake by mistake, it can spread very quickly and reach a large audience. Even if they correct it later, the damage is already done because people may still believe the fake information. Because of all this, trust in media is decreasing. People start to question everything they see in the news. They are no longer sure if the information is true or manipulated, and this weakens the credibility of media institutions. Finally, on social media, the problem becomes even worse. According to UNESCO, deepfakes spread faster than real information because of algorithms and user behavior. Platform promotes content that gets attention, especially shocking or emotional videos. At the same time, users often share content without checking it first. So overall, deepfakes are not only a technological issue, but also a serious threat to trust in media. Now moving to the second slide, please. No, the other one. Yes, thank you. Now I will explain how deepfakes influence public opinion and people's behavior. First, deepfakes exploit emotions. They are often designed to create a strong feeling like fear, anger, or shock. When people see this kind of content, they usually react very quickly without taking time to think or verify if it is true. Because of this, deepfakes are confusing. People are not sure what is real and what is fake anymore. This makes it difficult to understand what is really happening in the world. They also increase polarization, and this means that society becomes more divided. Different groups of people start to believe different versions of reality, creating more conflicts and disagreements. As a result, there is a loss of trust in media and institutions. People stop trusting news, governments, and even experts because they feel that information can be manipulated. Deepfakes also influence how people think, vote, and react. For example, during elections, a fake video of a politician can change how people see that person and affect their decisions. They can show fake speeches from politicians, making it seem like they said something controversial or offensive. They can also alter real events by changing part of a real video to create a different message. And in some cases, they can create completely false narratives, meaning stories that never happened at all, but look real to the audience. So overall, deepfakes are powerful because they don't just share the information, they shape how people understand reality. Now moving to the last slide, please. Thank you. Deepfakes are a powerful tool for misinformation and propaganda. They can be used to manipulate people, especially in politics. Once a deepfake go, goes viral, it is almost impossible to correct. Even if the truth comes later, many people still believe the fake version. They can influence elections, damage reputation instantly, as highlighted by UNESCO, and even create social instability. So the impact of deepfakes can be very serious both online and in real life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aya, for this valuable information. Now we move to Huda with her parts about ethical and social risks.
So, hi everyone. So, I'm going to talk about the ethical challenges of deepfakes. So, one of the main concerns is manipulation. So, deepfakes allow people to alter reality in an extremely convincing way using AI. What makes it this dangerous is that the content often looks completely authentic, even when it's entirely fabricated. As a result, people can be easily misled without realizing it. And this becomes especially problematic when deepfakes are used for misinformation or propaganda. So, for example, a fake video of a public figure saying something controversial could spread rapidly online, influencing opinions before it is even verified. In such cases, people may form beliefs or make important decisions based on content that is not even true. Another major ethical issue is consent. So, deepfakes often use a person's face, voice, or identity without their permission, and this raises serious concerns about ownership and control over one's own image. If someone can take your face and make you appear to say or do things you never did, it means you are losing control over your identity. And this is not just a technical issue; it is a violation of privacy, dignity, and personal autonomy. In some cases, deepfakes have been uh, used for harassment, which further highlights the ethical risks involved. So here, an important question arises: who owns your identity in the age of AI? This shows that deepfakes are now not just about technology; they challenge fundamental ethical principles such as trust, consent, privacy, and respect for individuals. And moving on to the next slide. So I'm going to talk about something beyond individual ethics. Deepfakes also have serious consequences for society as a whole. And first, they contribute significantly to the spread of fake news, especially in political contexts. Deepfakes can be used to create fake speeches, fake events, or even fabricate actions by public figures. Because these videos appear realistic, they can quickly go viral and be difficult to debunk. This creates a real risk for democracy, particularly during elections or major political events. If people are exposed to manipulated content, their opinions and decisions may be influenced by false information. Another major impact is the loss of trust in media. As deepfakes become more widespread, people may begin to question everything they see online, even content that is real and verified. This leads to what researchers call a crisis of credibility, where distinguishing between truth and falsehood becomes increasingly difficult. Over time, this can weaken trust not only in media but also in institutions, experts, and even interpersonal communication. In addition, there are important psychological effects. So, individuals who are targeted by deepfakes may experience anxiety, stress, embarrassment, or serious reputational damage. In some cases, this can affect their relationships, careers, and mental well-being. But there is also a broader social consequence. So people may reach a point where they stop believing anything they see, anything at all. This phenomenon is sometimes referred to as reality apathy, where constant exposure to misinformation leads to confusion, skepticism, and disengagement. So the key issue here is not just misinformation, but the erosion of trust, which is essential for any stable and functioning society. And yeah, now moving to my last slide, please. So, to address these challenges, it is essential to focus on responsibility, awareness, and critical thinking. So, according to the UNESCO AI competency framework, individuals should develop key skills such as critical thinking, digital literacy, and media awareness when interacting with AI generated content. This means we should not passively consume information, but actively question and analyze and verify what we see, especially when something appears unusual or emotionally provocative. Another important aspect is transparency. So AI generated content, including deepfakes, should be clearly labeled so that the audience are aware of what they are watching. This helps reduce confusion and allows people to interpret content more responsibly. At the same time, there must be accountability. This raises an important and complex question. Who is responsible when deepfakes cause harm? Is it the creator, the platform that distribute? Is it the creator, the platform that distributes it, or both? Or both? Currently, there is still a lack of clear and consistent regulation in many countries, which makes it difficult to control misuse and hold individuals accountable. This means that addressing deepfakes is not only a technological challenge, but also a legal and ethical one. Governments, organizations, and individuals all have a role to play in creating safer digital environments. So ultimately, dealing with deepfakes requires a combination of ethical standards, stronger policies, and increased public awareness. So to conclude, deepfakes highlight an important reality. Technology is powerful, but without responsible use, it can seriously harm individuals and society. And in a world where seeing is no longer believing, critical thinking becomes our most important tool to protect truth, trust, and reality itself. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Huda. Now we will move to the next part, which is detection and solution presented by Wiam.
Yes, thank you, Ihsan. Now, I will talk about one of the most important parts of our topic. How can we detect deepfakes and what solutions exist to deal with them? As we have seen, deepfakes can be very realistic and difficult to identify. So the question is, how can we recognize them and how can we protect ourselves? So, first, let's talk about how we can detect deepfakes. There are still ways to detect them. One method is using AI detection tools. These are special technologies that analyze videos and images to find hidden signs of manipulation. For example, they can detect unnatural facial movements, strange blinking patterns, or problems in how the lips move compared to the voice. Another important method is careful observation. Even without tools, we can sometimes notice small mistakes. For example, the face may look unnatural or slightly distorted, the lighting and shadows may not be consistent, and the voice may not perfectly match the person speaking. And finally, the movement may look too smooth or robotic. So, finally, media verification is very important. This means checking where the content comes from. If a video is not shared by trust news sources or official accounts, we should be careful before believing or sharing it. So now I will talk about solutions and responsibility. First, solving the problem of deepfakes is not the responsibility of one group only. It requires cooperation between different actors. So, first, technology companies play a very important role. These companies are responsible of creating AI systems, and they also develop tools that can detect deepfakes and prevent misuse of technology. Secondly, governments also have a key role. They create laws and regulations that control how AI is used. Their goal is to protect citizens from misinformation, fraud, and manipulation. And finally, digital platforms such as TikTok and YouTube are very important because they are where most content is shared. These platforms are responsible for monitoring videos, removing harmful content, and labeling AI generated media so users can know what is real and what is not. So we can see that solving the deepfake problem requires cooperation between technology companies, governments, and also online platforms. Now let's focus on one solution from legal perspective, especially the role of regulation. One of the most important legal frameworks in this area is the EU AI Act, which is a law created by the European Union to regulate artificial intelligence and reduce its risks. So, its main purpose is to ensure that AI systems are safe, transparent, and accountable when used in society. So, a key legal requirement in the EU AI Act is that AI generated content must be clearly labeled by law. So, this means that any video, image, or text created or significantly modified by AI must be identified so that users are not misled. So this legal obligation mainly applies to technology companies and digital platforms. So meaning they are responsible for making sure AI content is detected and labeled correctly before it is shared with the public. So also platforms such as TikTok and YouTube must therefore follow these rules by monitoring content and ensuring compliance with the law, especially when it comes to harmful or misleading AI generated media. So overall, the EU AI Act establishes a legal responsibility framework that ensures transparency and helps protect users from misinformation and manipulation in the digital space. So moving to the next slide, what students can do to protect themselves from deepfakes content. So as a student, there are several important actions that we can take to protect ourselves from deepfakes and fake content. So first, we should always verify the source of any information before trusting or sharing it. So if the content does not come from a reliable or official source, we should be careful. Second, we need to pay attention to visual and audio details. For example, we can check if the facial expressions look natural, if the lip movements match the voice, or if there are any strange or unrealistic effects in the video. And thirdly, it is very important to compare the information with trusted news platforms or official website to confirm its accuracy. And finally, we should also develop critical thinking habits, meaning we should not immediately believe or share contents online without thinking. So, solving this problem is not only the responsibility of governments or companies, so it is also our responsibility as users. We must think critically, question what we see, and avoid sharing unverified information with others. So, because in a world where fake content looks real, awareness is our strongest protection. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, WeAm, for this important information that everyone should know as social media consumers on a daily basis. Now, we will move to the next part, which is the case study presented by Hajar. Hajar, come on stage, please.
Is not believing to the power of deepfakes. To know more about this, let's watch this video.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, I don't know, Killmonger was right, or Ben Carson is in the sunken place, or how about this? Simply, President Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. That's a time when we need to rely on trusted news sources. It may sound basic, but how we move forward in the age of information is going to be the difference between whether we survive or whether we become some kind of fucked up dystopia. Thank you. And stay woke, bitches.
Okay, after seeing this video of Obama, Hajar will finish her part. Hajar, you can unmute yourself, please, to talk.
Thank you, Ihsan. After watching the video, let's explain the main ideas in a more clear way. The video represents deepfakes as advanced digital tools, similar to those used in scientific research. It shows that deepfakes are not only for entertainment or social media, but they are powerful technologies that can be used in many different fields. For example, they can be used in education, movies, or even scientific simulations. However, the video focuses more on the negative side of this technology. One of the main ideas highlighted in the danger of misinformation, deepfakes can usually manipulate videos, especially of politicians or public figures, making them say or do things that they are not that they are not real. This can confuse people and reduce their trust in what they see online. As a result, it becomes harder to know what is true and what is fake. Another important point is that even though the video has many views, it has no likes or comments. This is unusual for typical online content. It suggests that the video is mainly used for educational purpose rather than for entertainment or public engagement. The goal is not to get reactions, but to inform and raise awareness. The main message of the video is to make people more aware of media manipulation. It shows how easy it's to create fake content and reminds us that what we see is not always real. It encourages people to think carefully, question information, and not believe everything they see online. Now, move to the next slide. Now, after talking about the main ideas of the video, let's move to discuss the use of technology, its purpose, and its impact. The video is a part of series called Creative Visualization of Science. It's presented alongside advanced scientific simulation, such as QCD fields, graphene models, and visualization of Einstein's gravity. This context is very important because it shows that deepfake technology is treated as a serious and complex tool, just like those used in science and research. It's not just simple editing, but it requires a strong computing system, artificial intelligence, and technical knowledge. This also shows that how technology is evolving. Tools that were once only used in laboratories or research centers are now becoming more accessible. This makes deepfakes more powerful, but also more dangerous because more people can use them. The keywords linked to the video, such as enemies, dystopia, and trust, help us understand its deeper message. This word suggests a negative future where people can trust what they see. The video is warning us that deepfakes can be used to manipulate political message, create conflicts, and influence public opinions. For example, a fake video of a leader could cause panic or spread false information very quickly. In addition, the video shows how fast information can spread online. When deepfake content is shared on social media, it can reach thousands or even millions of people in a short time. This increases its impact and makes it more difficult to control. Another important aspect is how the video is organized using advanced tools like Glyphsy. This shows that the video is not just simple media content, but also abstract and thoughtful production. It helps people analyze and understand how images and videos are created. It also teaches us that digital content can be manipulated in ways that are not always visible to the human eyes. Finally, the impact of this technology is both positive and negative. On one hand, deepfakes can be used creatively in movies, education, and innovation. On the other hand, they can spread misinformation, damage reputation, and reduce trust in digital media. To conclude, the video encouraged us to become more critical and responsible users of technology. It reminds us to question what we see, verify information, and think before we believe or share content online. In today's digital world, this is very important to protect ourselves and others from being misled. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Hajar, for this part of case study. Now we are at the end of this presentation, this webinar. So to conclude, deepfakes represents one of the most fascinating and at the same time one of the most concerning developments in the domain of artificial intelligence, and they show us how powerful technology has become, but also how easily it can be misused. It's a double-edged sword, and today we can no longer rely only on what we see or hear online to decide what is true and what is not true. And this creates a very serious challenge, not just for media and journalists, but for all of us as individuals, as citizens. Because in a world full of manipulated content, trust becomes fragile. However, this doesn't mean that the situation is hopeless and we should give up. No, we have tools, we have knowledge, and the most important thing, we have critical thinking and we have awareness, which differentiate us as human beings. And by learning how deepfakes work, questioning the content you consume on a daily basis, and thinking critically before sharing any information on any social media platform, we can become more responsible digital citizens. And that's exactly what we encourage you to do after this webinar, because right now we are having a Q&A session. Please, if you have any questions, you can write them down in the chat box. So I have my classmates with me and we have your questions. Please write them down and I will try to project every question to answer it. Like the person who talked about the topic will try to answer it. So we have a question right here. So why do people still believe fake content ever after it's proven false? Actually, I'm gonna answer this question. Basically, as human beings, we have this ability to detect fake content. But when it's proven false, okay, it's proven false, but you don't have like a valid reason for it. And by the way, we have you all know X. I assume you all know X. Actually, we have a new solution for this in the X platform, which detects AI. For example, if you're just scrolling down and you watch the video and you wonder, okay, is this real or is it deep fake? It's you have a banner right there which tells you whether it's AI generated or not. I hope I answered your question. We have some questions right here. Okay, here. My question to WM. Okay, WM, you have a question. Are AI detection
Okay, the
tools
question.
100% reliable?
Thank you, Miriam, for your question. So I will answer it. So no, they are not 100% reliable because detection tools are improving, but deepfake technology is also improving at the same time. So it is like a race between creating fake content and detecting it. So that's why we can't rely only on technology. We also need human awareness and critical thinking of people. Thank you. I hope it answered
Thank you.
her question.
We have another question
Thank you.
for Huda.
Okay, so question is it ever ethical to use deepfakes or are they always harmful? By Aurora. Okay, that's a really good question actually. And so deepfakes are not always harmful. their ethical value really depends on how they're used. So let's take an example. On one hand, they can be positive uses, like for example in movies and entertainment. Deepfakes can recreate historical figures and improve visual effects. They can also be used in education or even to give a voice to people who have lost their ability to speak. However, the key issue is consent and intention. If a deepfake is created with a person's permission and is clearly labeled as artificial, then it can be considered ethical. But when deepfakes are used without consent or to deceive, manipulate, or harm others, they become unethical. That includes misinformation, harassment, or damaging someone's reputation. So overall, deepfakes are not inherently bad. It's the misuse and lack of the ethical responsibility that makes them dangerous. I think, did I answer the question?
I guess that you answered. Yes. We have a question here for Hajar. Hajar, you have a question? Maybe you should unmute yourself and answer it. Okay. Now.
Thank you, Aya. So the question is, how can we protect ourselves from being misled by deepfake content or deepfake videos? So this is a very important question. We can protect ourselves by developing critical thinking skills and not trusting everything we see online. For example, we should always check the source of the video, look for reliable news or evidence, and compare the information with other trusted platforms. Also, some tools and technologies are being developed to detect deepfakes, but as users, our awareness is the first line of defense. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. So basically now we will have a Kahoot game. Guys, please, can you scan this QR code? For people who can't, I can paste the link in the comments for a smooth transition. Okay, we already have 3 people. So we already have 3 people who joined the Kahoot. 4 people. I guess that's enough because we don't have enough time. I'll try to share my screen with you. Okay, we have 5 people. Okay, I will start. So guys, basically, if you've never done the Kahoot, you will have a question, and okay, okay, the question is, what is a deepfake? Normally, in your phones or wherever you're using, you should see 4 main colors, and you would simply choose the color that matches the correct answer that you think is correct. I hope that you can see clearly. Wait. Okay. I like the first name, by the way. Why are deepfakes especially dangerous for media and society? Okay. A viral video looks perfect with no visible errors in face lighting or sound. What is the most correct conclusion? Okay. The fourth question, what is one major social impact of deepfakes? Is it improved communication, loss of trust in media, increased trust in media, or faster internet speed? Okay, everybody got this one correct. The last question, which of the following best represents responsible AI use in the context of deepfakes? Okay, we finished. Okay, the person who wins is Simply. Second place goes to Aurora. And first place is to... okay, is to Wiwi. Okay. Unfortunately, we are not in real life to give you chocolate as a reward, but I can clap for you. Okay. After doing the Kahoot game, this is the end of the webinar. Thank you so much, guys, today. I had fun. Personally, I hope that you did too. And see you, inshallah, in the next webinar. Why not? And thank you so much. Bye-bye. I will end the stream now. Bye-bye.
Thank you.